Solar Coalition, episode 9.2.
Great, so where we left off, a lot happened.
Yeah, that was quite the lore.
Bit of a lore dump.
So, now the next question is, if we're going to the space station, and giving out her, letting anyone know who she actually is not a good idea.
No, we're not letting anyone know who she is.
So, we should let her know that and set up a fake identity that she can hold to.
You can go talk to the child about that again.
I'll go with you because I'm kind of spearheading
I
this.
realize now this is the same mini.
Yeah, it is the same mini, but one's
Different
tan,
colors.
one's gray.
Different colors, so
So
it's
the
good
gray,
at
the
least.
tan one is Amy.
Yeah.
The gray is whatever fake name we give her in a minute. So yeah, I'll head over there. You can come with. What is she watching? Do you want to make a roll for a random girly
Just
movie?
make a choice. Honestly, you have so many movies at this point.
What about Beethoven?
I'll just let you.
Like the movie Beethoven.
What the
Because
dog?
of the Saint
Yeah,
Bernard
the
right
dog.
there, yeah, sure. The original OG Beethoven.
Right down to the sad ending where the Beethoven dies and you get the puppies afterwards.
Oh,
Let's roll for her reaction to that.
So you would have seen all the movies then, right?
Okay, so you walk in right as the end of Beethoven is playing, and you can see her shedding
the first Beethoven doesn't end in his death. It's like the third one that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the second one is him getting with another Saint Bernard that belongs to a rich couple. No, not Old Yeller. If that's what you thought. If you,
No, I remember him, Beethoven, dying and, then them finding out that he had pups with the next door neighbor.
Yeah, wasn't that like
that was the third one. That was the third
The
one.
third one?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That was, the most heartwarming and heart-tugging of all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess she isn't shedding a single tear like Frodo then.
She is completely
Well, no, I mean, probably happy to see this
she's
dog
she's
that
having
saved
a
the
she's having a
family.
good time watching the movie, and I'll just make a quick rolls for see how these two get along.
Yeah, because then Beethoven gets hit by and killed by this
Yeah,
really
a truck.
bad guy.
You guys run over or some shit? Okay.
Okay, so just to tell you guys what happens because you weren't around to witness it, it was a little spooky at first when this dog walked in and then a holographic child appeared, but she really digs the dog, and her and Amy are conversing as best as
AI
an
and
AI and the heir to the lunar throne, who has some memory loss, can.
but she is used to talking to an AI type program.
Yeah, so- I will say they are getting along well enough.
All right. So
As you two get there. It's like, oh, hello again.
I'm just-
hello.
I'm monitoring.
Yep. I assume there's.
I
a
imagine
drone
there's probably a
floating.
drone in this room at all times.
Floating in
now.
the
There's a
corner.
drone with her, there's a drone with him.
That's true now too. I got my drone.
Alone.
Yeah. So-
She's just sort of still sitting on one of the beds from the dorm, which is still clear just for privacy's sake for
Yep.
a little while. He's like, oh, hello again. It's nice to see you too.
Good to see you. How you feeling?
Much better. My memory still hasn't returned to me yet. I'm sorry I cannot be of more help.
No, it's fine.
Did you learn about speaking with my father at all?
Um,
And I'd love to let him know I'm alive.
I can completely understand that. But it looks like just to be on the safe side because of increased lunar wraith activity, if we send out any signals right now, it might draw attention to us. In fact, it's kind of dangerous to use your real name right now. Is there a name that we can refer to you as, just so that in case there's anyone monitoring closely, they wouldn't have any chance to know a name that you think is cool, something that you may have, heard at some point that
Been
you.
40 years. What's the coolest name? Naming conventions can very well be different now as they were then. What sort of name would make me not stick
The
out?
drone just says Zoe.
I was gonna say Lauren.
I was gonna go with Natasha after the Black
Okay,
Widow.
if you can come up with a fourth name, you can roll a d4.
Kumquat.
I know. I'll roll the D4, but we need another name.
Hold on, wait. I still have my instant names.
Okay,
Sure.
Annalise, Natasha, Zoe,
Lauren.
Lauren. So, Zoe is 1, Lauren is 2, Natasha is 3, Annalise is 4.
Okay.
Everyone have good with that assessment? I've been very clear about it. Open. 3, so it's Natasha.
Okay.
Right? I think I did the numbers right. Yeah.
Natasha. That sounds secretive. I
I-
like it.
I almost want to it whispered to the calm. That's the redhead from Avengers. Totally, that's what I thought.
I like it. I shall be Natasha Lumen. And she sort of stands up like this.
probably
should
shouldn't
change
say
her
your
last
last
name,
name.
too.
So what's another last name that we could give you too, just in case they're really monitoring us intently?
Anything other than my normal name, I suppose.
Okay,
Again, this is an unfamiliar galaxy I'm stepping into, so...
I understand. How about Nova? So you'd be Natasha Nova.
Sure, that's... I like the alliteration, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm good at that sometimes.
Sounds like a space pirate.
I laugh internally. But yeah, so Natasha Nova. So okay. I just tell her
So,
that
we won't be communicating with him at all until we get to the moon, I assume?
we're going to be on radio silence to avoid any unwanted attention. We already have some attention on this ship for other various reasons. So the best thing to do right now is just to keep a low profile till we're close enough to make secure contact with your father.
Alright, that's fine by me. These recordings that has been showing on the screens are very interesting. Have you watched them too?
I've watched many. I look over, glance over. If I don't recognize it, I just tell her that I haven't seen this one.
Probably
But
the credits of Beethoven. or
yep,
something.
I'm not sure which movie this is, but
I like this one. It felt very appropriate that the moment she gestures to Bingo, felt very appropriate that the moment he walked into the room, it started playing.
yep, this is a recent. I look over at Amy and Bingo. A couple of conscripts to the ship, in a nice way. It's an affectionate way.
Amy says, yes, our previous home blew up.
Also true.
Very violently. Thermonuclear.
The next movie that comes out, okay, since you said I could pick them, Zathura.
But she might understand more of it than
The
not.
human girl on Earth who grows up with a regular human family comes to find out that she's like this intergalactic princess, and she gets kidnapped by this like human hybrid with an animal in order to be brought back to her family, and her family are all out trying to kill her to make sure she doesn't take over.
Jupiter Ascending?
That
Okay,
Okay.
because when you said Zathor, I'm like, that's a couple kids playing a board game that sucks at an
Oh,
alternate
shit.
That
universe.
sounds like the name of a
I'm sorry.
and
Godzilla
I was like,
kaiju.
that's not really what I was gonna go with, but
no, Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter
To me, that
Ascending.
sounded like the name of a Godzilla kaiju.
well, yeah, and your description, I'm listening, I'm like, we are not talking the same movie. I'm about to like interrupt, but I'm like, no. So,
Sure, yeah.
Jupiter Ascending, which is basically a sci-fi movie about a girl who finds out she's a princess of space.
That
Yep. Which
fits.
has the political intrigue of, you know, brothers and sisters trying to kill her at the last minute to take over her position.
It's kind of a dark movie when you think about it, actually.
But it's really cool and shiny and bright. So
Yeah,
it's one
it's-
that all of you could enjoy watching together.
oh yeah.
So yeah, she's actually, you know what? I'll make you roll some dice. Roll persuasion for her keeping her identity a secret.
Persuasion. 17.
It's good enough. Yeah, so she is, given how kind all of you have been and given what she knows about the galaxy being dangerous, she is open to keeping her identity a secret, but is still very insistent upon meeting with her father once you guys reach the moon.
As soon as we are able to facilitate that, we will. I say that straight-faced and honestly.
She also, like, stands up and is like, would you mind if I made, like, a special request?
Of course.
I'd rather Enzo not gain dust just sitting in this corner until we reach the moon. Feel free to, you know, put him to work where needed around the ship if you're in need of assistance with anything. I'm sure if you worded it in a way that was helping me, he would be happy to help.
Understandable.
He's very capable. Being the daughter of a very important political figure, I've watched him cut down many attempted assassins.
Okay.
I sent a text message to your thing. I need to make sure that the place is fully clean. I would laugh to see him with a broom and a mop.
The most tactical
Waxing on,
brooming.
wax off.
I'll say on that note, as you guys are talking, you see the little thingies rotate around and beep, 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 beep. He actually steps out of the corner at this point. He's like, if there's anything I can do to help the young miss with a more comfortable ride back home, I would be happy to help, even if it involves combat.
Kind of look at him and probably this bulky-ish like battle droid. I'm like, that's kind
He's
of your
probably about
speciality.
7 feet tall, honestly.
Just a frighteningly built battle droid. I
Very
see him.
tall.
With 2 swords.
He's got these 2 swords and a cloak and some very fancy looking like security guard. outfit on, but you can tell he was very much a droid meant for killing, probably.
Yeah, he was a battle droid. I'm going to request that he, just for the purposes of our, I reference her, stealth mission, to avoid unwanted attention, is there any way you can modify your uniform to eliminate any visible droid parts, aka add more to the cloak? Like, more like mechanically.
He points to his giant cylindrical droid head.
I look over at you. Did you by any chance see him with the space helmets? Yes, this dude's gonna have a space helmet.
Wait, what?
Oh man, but that's why I picked out this mini.
He still would look like that, but no, I
I just say that was like his helmet.
Okay, actually, that's true. If you didn't know, if there was nothing else visible, you could
Paint-
say it was a helmet.
Paint it so it looks like you're looking in at a face inside that just doesn't seem to move.
If you show.
Okay. Can she do that?
Oh my god! I was just
Wait, so
joking.
what's happening?
She's painting on his face to make it look like if you look at his face, on the inside there's just someone that's not moving.
You're talking about like light refractive, like it would be if you look at it from one angle.
nanites,
Yeah.
and you have the invisible.
It would only be a nanite cover basically for the front that has an image of a face. Like so, if you
Yeah,
move,
what are they calling the nanite camo?
That's up to you to name it.
this is
It's
reverse.
your nanite.
It's a lot of effort for something that I said tried to make not that big a deal.
I mean, honestly, it would just be an optical illusion digitally painted on of a face behind a screen, and so all the gadgets could still move. It would just on his face, it would look like there's a guy wearing a helmet.
I mean, I
He has a fake
guess.
face.
I
Most
mean,
people
it
would
seems like a
probably-
lot of work. Like I kind of
Most
agree with
people
you. A
would
lot of
probably
work
think
for
this
this.
whole thing was just a really complex helmet anyways.
That's a scanner unit, yeah.
So,
But I
mean,
mean, this
if-
is more effort than I thought we'd go
But
into.
that would keep him busy for hours.
could just give him like a new outfit that covers all of his robo
That was my
bits.
thought first. You could just be a dude with a weird helmet, wearing a heavy cloak that covers everything, including all your skin. Cool.
Say that if you mentioned like hiding some of his droid bits, he'll request access to wherever the stray outfits are
Oh yeah, the
and,
hold.
and he'll just simply put something together that covers, as he puts it, as much of my mechanical appearance as I can
I will
manage.
have my 3D printer print off in cloth format basically a like Rurouni Kenshin like old school
samurai outfit.
samurai outfit.
Okay, I can be done with that.
So yeah, that would cover everything.
So it prints that out
And then
pretty
the
quick.
helmet would even look like a helmet
Yeah,
for it.
so people I think will think he's just walking around in cosplay. Which, given the type of crew that you guys roll with, isn't that uncommon.
The cat ears on the space helmet, the Harlock.
You dress up like Batman.
Yeah, when you put it that way.
This
you're not
guy
wrong.
is a prominent figure aboard the ship.
Who looks like he's Nova meets
the
freaking
Rocketeer.
Rocketeer.
So could I roll to do that?
Uh,
Space with the nanites? Test out the invisible
Oh, that'd
ones?
be awesome. If she could roll high enough and make an illusionary head.
I'd say roll to try to figure out how to get the nanites to display an image via bending light and whatnot. So basically, roll to invent the technology.
Yeah.
Advantage with it?
Yeah, it's nanotech, so.
And I add my intelligence?
Yep.
19?
Okay, yeah. So, working down in the workshop, you figure out how to, after working with him for a little bit on the cloak stuff,
I also
on,
have all the technology for holograms in the system.
on the cloak stuff,
Nice.
you figure out a way to not only make the nanites use the stealth tech to cloak, but to display imagery, basically. It's not perfect. If anyone were to stare at it too long, they could probably
Glitch out a little
they
bit.
could probably suss out that it wasn't real. But you could basically throw up a digital projection that would.
Congratulations, you just created the disguise self spell.
Yeah, you
With
just
nanites.
basically invented the disguise self spell.
And the limited invisibility spell.
Yeah.
You're making level 3 spells, man.
I guess we're gonna have magic in this game one way or another.
Hey,
Any severely advanced magic,
So what should I
any
call this
sufficiently
advanced.
advanced form of science will appear as to be magic to those who are not familiar with it.
That's true. And you could name it whatever the hell you wanted. If I had to make a suggestion, honestly, just disguise nanotech.
Hollowware.
That's
sounds
better.
good.
That is significantly
Hollowware,
better.
yeah.
I am self-admitted. I suck at naming things.
No, it was
So
a
do I.
tough thing to name. Tough thing to name. We created like digital nanotech that can just kind of stay
Yeah.
on your face.
Sort of like
H-O-L-L-O-W?
HOLLOWEAR.
kind of like
Kind of like Halloween.
Halloween has 2 L's.
Well, no, hollow would only have one L. Because otherwise, then it would be holla.
So it's Hollowware?
Yeah.
Okay. So H-O-L-O.
Yeah.
And then
Dash.
There's a movie I'm thinking of where people use basically like a mask over the face that alters appearance in basically the same way.
It's in Jupiter Ascending, too.
Jupiter
Cool, so
Ascending,
topical.
Black Widow
Have you
used
seen that
it.
movie?
Also,
No, but
Mission
I know of
Impossible.
Mission Impossible and Black Widow are probably where I'm remembering it from.
Yeah, that's 2 scenes where they basically have full face masks that just pull off and they're not.
this one's good, but could I put it aside to see if I can make a slightly better one?
Sure, to improve the tech.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not 20.
Well, I feel like that's gonna be the stuff that you have in like a container that you just like take out. It goes back when it's
So,
done.
On a
A
nat 20.
contained nanotech, Holloway.
On a nat 20.
You have actually learned disguise out.
Yeah. So that sort of uncanny valley effect that people would be able to figure out what it was by staring at it for a while back, not a problem anymore. This is
Her hard light. Gives the hologram more substance.
sure. Rather than
How's that for an excuse?
it's okay. I'd say rather than this point
That's-
just
that's
sort
like
of acting
shit.
like a mask that bends light so like whatever. This is now like a pretty form-fitting thing that goes over the skin and can actively change the appearance of what's in it by bending light. Sort of like how your stuff changes skin color, except it's just displaying an image of that.
Okay.
So that'd be like a hollow
So
mask.
rather than an optical illusion of what's going on, this is much more of like those masks from those movies where you can put it on and make it look like whatever the hell you want.
Okay, so we have
It's-
Hollowware and then we have Hollow Masks.
Yeah, so this is much more of like a cleaner disguise self sort of thing. Disguise kit, I don't know.
No, it's basically it's a nanotech disguise kit, like you said. I mean, at that point, I'm sure it's
That's
smart.
pretty epic.
That is pretty
For
epic.
description, would it be wrong if I put nanotech glove that you put over your face?
Be a ski mask or whatever. Something.
Nanotech mask.
False face.
Okay.
Sounds creepy, I like it.
That's a creepy way to put it, but you're not wrong. It's a false face.
It's not inaccurate.
Like I said earlier, if you say enough words, sooner or later you might come out with a good one.
I might as well repopulate the ship. I moved everything off because I thought we were
Well, I mean,
because
technically
I thought we were
speaking,
doing like a dungeon crawl of the destroyed ship, and then I totally just gave you guys a way to bypass that.
you know what?
Which I'm not
It
complaining
was-
about because it was still
No,
pretty cool.
that was a good idea, perfectly rolled with. In that situation, that worked.
Yeah, and you could have easily nixed it just by they couldn't get access to this because I
Yeah.
only sent the small drones to go inside, or they get knocked out by something
Yeah.
like Super Droid, who somehow let me kidnap her.
Yeah, so you invent that revolutionary technology completely on a whim.
Then I'm gonna come back. Because we were making it for this, right? So it looks like he has a...
That was the discussion, I
head.
think.
Yep. So,
He's.
Can
He-
I figure out how to take his head off? Because
I feel like
to
it.
do that.
I feel like at this point he's sort of wandered out here.
I don't think he needs him. He looks
Nah.
enough like he has a helmet. This is a cool thing for like us if we needed it
Okay.
to. I mean,
feel
he's
like-
good.
I think at this point
With his outfit fixed. That was the one thing. Now that his outfit's fixed, he just looks like he has a kind of a high-tech helmet.
I think by this point he's sort of wandered out here. He's staying in proximity, but him and Andy are in the midst of a conversation. Being,
Yeah, I figured that would happen eventually.
being
It
androids.
looks like he's from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Wait, so if I put on the one that is like a glove, can I make it so I look
Oh.
like someone
I
else?
heard bark. Is that food?
They're on the way. They're 8 minutes away, so not yet.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, what were you saying?
So if I put on the hollow mask, that could make me look like someone else, right?
You could program it to pretty much display an image of whoever over your face.
So she's gonna go back and put it on and make herself look like Bob.
So Sam, if you're watching this, you now see Cherry. You now see Cherry's body with Bob's face on it. Just sort of,
Bob.
what? Not even feminine Bob. This is just Bob's head photoshopped onto Cherry's body. It's very unsettling.
Yeah. I rolled a con check just because I was going to be kind of horrified. I'm like, I've seen zombies, I've seen creatures, I've seen abysmal monstrosities of experiments gone wrong. This would be fucking
The
horrifying.
crew are definitely off, but it looks weird.
Yeah, I rolled high on my con, so it's
It
just
full on
confused.
looks like Bob's head, like a perfect replication of Bob's head. But it's given kind of a different sort of uncanny valley, just seeing.
I send you a message because I've been watching everything. Okay.
My droid's right
Can
next
you,
to me.
can you do that so it can make one of the droids look like a floating head?
Let me see. She's gonna peel the mask off her face.
You just take it off, it's pretty easy.
And
Put it on her droid.
yeah, exactly. She's just gonna.
So you put it on your droid, and yeah, now it looks like a floating Bob head. Except because there's no emotions to be had, because it's a drone and not your face. It's just sort of like.
It's just...
Floating corpse head.
I mean, it's not gory, I don't think. It's just like, at the end, it's just digital.
It's just a
blank.
cut off.
Just a cut
It's just a
off.
cut off. The skin color continues on the cut off. So it looks less like a decapitated head and more like the head pulled off of a doll.
But that is more grotesque, actually, when you
It
put
is
that way.
really unsettling to just see Bob's head just.
Just floating next to you.
I'll say if the ship's AI talks out of it, and you see Bob, the hologram of Bob's mouth just sort of contort in weird Jim Carrey-esque ways as it speaks, in an attempt to recognize some sort of thingy going on.
Alrighty then.
What the hell are you guys doing to this droid?
Why is my visual monitor out? Because you just put a mask
Why do I
over
see
it.
an overlay of Boss's face over my camera?
Don't ask questions.
Sure, hi, George.
This is so awful. I already regret it.
It's gonna kill itself. It's gonna gain sentience and dive into the fusion
You
engine.
guys are gonna walk into this station, and people are just gonna see this weird ass crew followed by a floating head of one of the guys in the crew.
I could make it a floating head of someone else, but I'll make
Who
it better.
do you want to make it a floating head of? You can program it from your gauntlet, I'd say, or from your data pad rather. He is the gauntlet.
She's gonna look at her data pad and just look for any random person.
Okay, make a roll.
Because it's a data pad that her father had
Okay,
before.
yeah, make a roll.
So,
It's gonna mortify someone.
what do I add to it? Wisdom?
Do investigations. I think that's intelligence.
So 12.
It'd be so sad. It comes up with a picture of her as a baby with her parents.
Oh no.
I'm gonna say you rolled very middle of the road. I rolled very middle of the road.
An old picture of her parents with a bunch of their colleagues back at the Nanite Center. You figure
Yeah, you know
a
what?
scientist
You know,
isn't going to
data
have...
You know what? I'll say, yeah, it turns into the floating, disembodied head of your dad.
Okay. Okay. So, is this better?
No, there's still stuff covering the camera.
I know, it's just floating on
It looks,
me.
who is this guy?
Oh, he's my dad, so.
Oh, fun! I guess I look the part. I guess I look the part since I'm just a floating head. Ow.
So fun. So we communicate with the station. Just,
Yeah, at this point, you guys have been. It was really only 2 hours to the station.
Yeah.
So
She's
as
gonna take it off.
you take it off the drone, it sort of shakes a little bit.
Realigns.
It realigns and restabilizes for the change in weight from having the thing you removed. It was only 2 hours out from the station. Between all the tinkering you did, it been well beyond that. So you guys pull into the station relatively easily. Do you want to detach from them, or do you want to go alongside them?
I'm not gonna bother detaching.
Cool. So you go in alongside them.
They're
Just
4 minutes away.
okay.
Yeah.
So that just means that all the ships are pretty much together, and you can't undock from them while in port. Or
Yep.
in an emergency situation, you could, but
Yeah, but I just shouldn't.
yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Wreck some shit.
Yeah.
But oh, did I drop this?
And I will.
Yep.
How much for the parts in order to extend my
In order to just-
cargo bay
Oh, the
and
cargo
do the
bay?
skin?
I'd say make an investigation roll to see what you can find.
Do I have
No.
advantage because of the ship and because
Or
I'm going through whatever.
this stuff would
dealing
be
with
easy
now.
to find, so I'd say rather just make a persuasion roll to see how cheap you can get it.
I don't think it measured to where we're actually at.
6. I did not roll
Because,
well.
like, this is...
Neither did I.
That's West Hill Road Extension, and then that's where it's saying to go to.
Actually, West Hill Extension is up there.
It's up there. Yeah, but
But GPS, I've had GPS.
the GPS is saying that we're there. So, I don't know if I need to try to call the Domino's to call the delivery guy.
Oh
or-
no, it all changed.
Well, that thing is moving closer to us. I mean, if it stops there, then...
No, he'll get to about there and call. Lois, where are you? Keep going.
Yeah,
Um,
because it said 57 West Hill Road Extension. So,
So,
Hmm.
we were saying.
I'm gonna be real. I kind of forgot what we were talking about beforehand.
Oh, how much for the materials?
Right. Okay. I'm gonna say for what are you looking for? Just run it by me again.
All the parts and materials in order to extend out my
Cargo bay.
cargo bay and do the skin.
Okay. So I'm gonna say for all of that together, it's gonna run you about 15,000.
Okay.
Just in raw supplies, and because you also have to install an extra hydrogen fuel slot and then buy the extra hydrogen cell for said
Okay.
fuel slot. If you wanted to buy extras because use of the stealth mechanic is going to drain one, it
Would there be parts for me to make like a small version of the ion reactor?
yes. If you wanted to do that instead of procuring
Instead of the extra hydrogen
instead
stuff?
of the hydrogen stuff, that is not a D10. I'd probably bring you down 15,000 to maybe about 12,000.
Oh, it's gonna be less expensive?
Yeah, because no one's really using ion stuff that much these days.
Well then, can I get enough parts for 2 ion engines?
Sure,
Probably
Yeah.
another 7K.
that'd
So-
bring it back up. I'd say to
I don't know where he's
With the
going.
extra materials to extend
yeah. No, I'd
the
bring.
ship, call it an even 20?
Huh.
Call it an
Should
even
I go
20?
down to the end of the
Yeah, I'd
road?
say an even 20 would be a good idea.
He's going to the end of the road, but...
Yeah, he's going to down there.
Yeah, if you want to call him.
I don't know how to call them though.
And it's
Oh,
been
they
a
should
week.
call us.
So it'd be an even 20,000 for all of that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they'll probably call when they get lost and don't know where they're at.
Yeah. No, well, we can call them.
Sorry, I remember we had this mini and really wanted an excuse to use it.
No?
No,
Oh,
for,
good.
for an evil battle droid that's just defending a girl.
Not
that's
evil.
No, he's not evil, actually. He's just a battle droid.
And
Yeah,
then-
so about even 20,000 for that.
Yeah, so then that'll be on my list once we leave.
As you guys are pulling in, you can put in that order. They can probably get most of that to you before it's time to leave. And then you can start on implementing it once you guys are out in open space.
Yeah.
But yeah, you pull into this colony. It's fairly standard by the closer to Earth ones you've been in by now, which have only been a couple, but you're noticing they all sort of look the same. They're a lot closer to Earth, so they're a little bit nicer, look a bit more mass-produced, but still to a degree just kind of being free-floating out in space, a little dingy. But you have full access to facilities on this place. You guys are officially on leave for, I'd say, probably the next 12 hours till it's time to go again. You're really just here as a checkup and to meet up with the sort of convoy they're sending along with you guys.
Alright, I'll check in with you with Bob first. See what your plan is. Do you need anything? Or just ordering parts and whatnot?
Ordering parts, making sure that they can all fit in or otherwise secured so I can use them once we're underway. Otherwise, I'm going through the submission of videos and stuff that we're getting. Because I put that call out. And...
I'll make some more rolls for bounty hunters, just because why not?
Okay. So, I'm taking all these videos that people have sent me and, like, trying to think of, you know, what to do with it.
I feel like we need a, what's the show? I don't really watch it much, but it's an MTV show about a guy who just watches videos of stunts and people getting hurt.
It's reaction videos, just like you see on YouTube.
Yeah, but like a TV episode show format version.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably 1,000 shows like that.
Actually, right?
Yeah. In fact, you know what? While I'm watching these shows, I will invite Zoe, or whatever her real name is, Zabra.
Natasha, I think, was
Natasha.
the fake name that you
Natasha.
guys came up with.
I will invite Natasha to come and watch some videos submitted by the public populace
Okay.
to give you a better idea of what kind of world it's turned into today.
So are you going to try to, while doing this, convince her about the whole thingy?
I'm going to start my indoctrination.
And I'd say make a very important persuasion roll.
Do I get advantage since I have the media to back me up and and I'm not actually lying about anything?
You know what? Sure, I'll be nice.
Okay, the advantage roll was a 7. The real roll was a 5 plus my charisma 3, 18. 15. 18. Sorry.
That's high for what you rolled. On a 15?
15 plus 3
Oh,
is
15.
18.
15. I thought you said it was low and then it
no,
added up
I
to
get the
it.
confusion. You kind of
Okay,
double
no,
said
so-
it.
The die that I did for
Yeah.
advantage was only a 7.
Okay, yeah. So an 18 is significantly better. I'll say that on an 18, what are you showing her specifically?
I haven't watched these myself really yet either. These are the submissions of people looking to get a show or sharing what's going on in their life in order to try and,
Probably a bunch of people making news reports, trying to become
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say you show her all this stuff, and she's pretty
Yeah.
enthralled. She's been very interested in the stuff you've shown her already. And I'll say amidst these suggestions, or submissions rather, amidst these submissions is one, basically guys who are trying to be like a news station, reporting on the lunar wraith attacks, and specifically what they did to Mars in comparison to their current activity. That hits home. And immediately she's like, damn lunar wraiths.
Oh, these people are horrible. They've been doing damage all across. In fact, they even attacked me a few times, and I'll bring up the video of...
One video of you kicking the shit out of that one guy.
Yeah.
Seems more like you. Seems like you attacked them, given how utterly screwed they look.
See, he was like the most famous assassin for the lunar race. Yeah, everyone knew him. I mean, and I could bring up news articles about him. Okay.
Like, I commend you for dealing with such a dangerous individual so easy. And these
We just
even,
make it look easy.
It's unfortunate to see that 40 years out from my time, they're just as active and just as violent.
From what I'm hearing, they're the biggest threat out there. They're horrible to people.
Yeah, cool.
They are the epitome of what we used to consider human atrocities.
That's a relatively apt statement.
But then look at all these other videos of people trying to get along and helping each other out. I mean, this one here talking about a farming community on the space station that they're at, and how to garden on their ship.
It's impressive to see that, despite the obvious threats posed by these lunar wraiths, the humanity's chunk of space is moderately more peaceful than it was when I left it.
Oh, I don't know. I've been asleep for a few hundred years. I've only been awake for a couple months now.
Oh wait, you too?
Oh yeah, and I'll tell the whole.
oh, she's enthralled by this.
We're bonding. And
You're bonding over your shared crappy experiences with cryogenics.
I am such an evil fucker.
Yes.
I am the like. Have you seen Firestarter?
No.
The one with the very, very, very young Jodie Foster? That one?
Not Jodie Foster.
The other one from Charlie's Angels. The blonde.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I am like the old guy who pretends to be the kind orderly and really planning to kill her the whole time.
Jesus.
I think that in my mind, the rogue figured out that there's now a ploy for a coup. I don't think that you...
I'm not planning on killing her.
I was going to say, like, she doesn't need to die. She's
It's
really...
just that character in
I know I'm keeping
Firestarter.
some things hidden, but I am going to say she's not evil or in on any of this.
And I don't agree with the killing of children in character.
No.
As bad as I am.
I was saying that because that's the example of the character in Firestarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. 100%.
That I feel like I'm being like.
A little bit.
little bit. Little bit. Okay. I'm starving though. My stomach is grumbling for last night.
All right.
I think we can
then,
probably...
we'll take a break here and we'll be back later.